Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the Excel Center in London at this 20th anniversary edition of DSEI, one of the world's greatest defense and security shows. And here at our very last interview of this fantastic week that started with conference coverage at the beginning of the week, as well as interviews with senior UK government officials and industry. Our coverage here is sponsored by L3Harris and Leonardo DRS, and we're partnered with Clarion Events, the organizer of this great exhibition and many others around the world, and we're working with the UK Department of International Trade's Defense and Security Organization to bring you the very best of defense, British defense and security systems. And we're here on the BAE Systems stand to cover some stuff that we wanted to cover from the very, very beginning. There are going to be 3 separate interviews in the course of this overall segment, and we're here with Michael Take, who is one of the great program managers on the Bofors side of the business, obviously with BAE Systems now, and behind you, one of the world's, I think you can say, best 155 millimeter truck-mounted artillery systems. Michael, tell us a little bit about the Archer system.
Yes, the Archer is a 155-52 caliber gun system. It's a mobile platform built up on a wheeled vehicle. The great thing about this is actually that it's fully automated. So contrary to traditional artillery, where you typically have a manned crew, we are now handling everything remotely from the cabin of the vehicle. So you never leave the vehicle. And the crew is reduced from the typical 6 to 8 soldiers down to only 2 or 3 operators in the front.
And talk to us about what advantages you guys have. There are a lot of other vehicle-mounted systems out there, but you guys pride yourself and see yourself as the best system. What do you think differentiates your offering from what other folks have on the market now?
We are offering a system. We are integrated this on a vehicle, but it's a mobile or a very modular system, so we can integrate to different vehicles. Our core thing here is actually the gun system, the automation and the software that runs it. We are also a end-to-end business where we really take the full responsibility for integrating the ammunition, qualifying the ammunition, and that allows us now already today to have one of the most comprehensive ammunition portfolios to actually create effect in target. And that includes not even a high explosive projectile, which the conventional stuff, but also includes high precision, Excalibur, and anti-armor rounds like the 155 bonus.
Talk to us about how quickly you guys can shoot and scoot. Obviously now we're back to great power competition, so the Swedish Army is going back along with all Swedish forces, but indeed NATO forces and even the United States, that there's going to be counter battery fire coming down on you, or at least some form of massed fires. Talk about how quickly you guys set up, shoot, and then move to the next target.
Yes, we deploy within 15 seconds from that we stop the vehicle. And within 20 seconds we have the first round in the air already. We execute a full fire mission of 6 to 8 rounds in just about a minute, and we need another 15-20 seconds to actually get out of there again, which means that we typically execute a full fire mission before and get out of there before even the first round lands in the target area. That's really something different to the traditional way of executing artillery.
And on sort of a full 6 charge, how far can something like bonus Excalibur round get out there?
Excalibur goes beyond 50 kilometers with a full charge, typically 54, 55 kilometers.
That's not bad.
No, that's really good, and within 2 meters accuracy from the intended target point every time.
And how many rounds and how much powder goes into the automated loading system you have in the back of the system?
We do 21 rounds in there, and we are also escorted by a resupply vehicle which holds another 100 rounds, and we resupply the entire Archer within 5 minutes.
And how large is the crew?
It's 3 persons only. 3 operators.
And is loading automated, or are those guys going to have to break and put shells in the back of the system?
When you reload the system, you go out.
Okay.
So that's a semi-manual operation.
Semi-manual, that's right, because they just put it in the autoloader and it goes into the into the system. Sweden has deployed the system. How many systems are in Swedish service right now? And talk to us about some of the other customers and opportunities you're pursuing.
Right. Sweden today has 24 systems deployed in the Army. They have procured another 24, so that will take them up to 48 systems. That variant has been around since 2013 when they got the very first systems. That variant is also on a Volvo articulated hauler, so that's what you will typically see out there in media. until this week, actually, where we presented on the MAN 8x8 truck. Other customers typically want it on a truck-based vehicle rather than the articulated hauler. So our opportunities here is obviously the UK MFP program, which is something that we are looking forward to participate in.
Great. Michael, thanks very, very much. Best of luck on the program. And I've heard so much about it over the years. I've read so much reporting on it, and it's always great to see a vehicle like this in the scan. And I think especially with sort of the single chassis on a platform that's really, really very popular with NATO militaries. So best of luck on the program.
Thank you very much.
And now we're over at the BVS 10. I was going to call it the BV206, which is one of my favorite vehicles on the planet, to talk to Phil Page, who's part of the team, and the BAE Hägglunds team, who oversees this vehicle in your portfolio. Your pin had tilted, Phil, so I've got your oh, it is a BVS 10. Very good. So tell us a little bit about the BVS 10, and also for the audience, the genealogy or the heritage of the vehicle, because the BV206 was a totally game-changing vehicle when it came out. I know the British Army had a number of them. Now they're being disposed. So if you want to buy a new one, how much is it going to cost you? A disposal vehicle?
You could probably pick one up for about £35,000 to £40,000 actually on the disposal market now. It's a real bargain. It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
It really is. Anybody who's driven it, it is single. I'm a car guy. It is the single most fun vehicle I've ever driven. So, Phil, talk to us about the BVS 10. You guys are always updating capabilities on the vehicle. I see a lot of stuff that you guys have added to it. Bring us up to speed on where you guys are and some of the really, really important and unique missions you guys can fill than other systems can.
Okay, so the BVS 10 is the successor to the BV206. BAE Systems Hägglunds actually sold somewhere around about 11,000 BV206s over the years around the world, and about 1,200 into the US, where it was known as the Small Unit Sustainment Vehicle, SUSV, M973. BVS 10 was brought into being in response to a requirement from the UK Royal Marines, who were the first customers, and they first fielded those back in 2004. Subsequent customers have included the Royal Dutch Marines, the French, and Swedish, and now Austria. So we have 5 user nations for this particular vehicle. The requirements have grown with those customers as we've moved through time. And the original vehicle weighed in at about 10 tons as a gross vehicle weight. This current vehicle is up to 15.5, 16 tons. The protection levels have increased incrementally as we've developed the platform in response to those customer requirements.
And what are some of the other changes you've had to make to be able to maintain that kind of mobility? Obviously, banded track gives you low, much better ground pressure in order to get over some crappy terrain or even snow or boggy ground. But when you increase weight that much, that drives automotive changes you have to make. So how have you made? What are the changes you've made to make sure that this vehicle has that kind of agility and off-road performance that everybody wants out of a 206?
Okay, so the power on the engine systems has increased incrementally over that period of time. The transmission system has changed. The track system actually remains the same as the original BVS 10. And it's a very, very low ground pressure system, which we haven't had to change. The main changes we've had to make are towards the internal volumetrics on the vehicle to allow it to swim and maintain its amphibiosity at the greater level of weight that we currently have on the vehicle system. So this will still swim at 15.5 tons in Sea State 2.
That really is amazing that you managed to maintain the swimming properties of the vehicle even with as much armoring as you have. And you guys have a spall liner in it as well?
Yes, it's all integrated. This vehicle is now rated at STANAG level 2, which is again in response to customer requirements that we've had.
And how much is vehicle crew, and how many folks can you put in the back, or how much stuff can you put in the back?
Okay, so we're at the front car. We are seats for 4 personnel. This is the troop carrying variant with seats for 8 personnel in the back.
And remote weapon turrets or weapon capabilities are?
You can mount an RWS on here, or you can mount a protected weapon mount. The UK actually uses a protected weapon mount in service at the moment.
And in the event you don't want to put troops in the back, how much payload can you put in there if you want to use battlefield resupply?
Okay, for the logistic support variant, the payload is 7 tons, 7 metric tons.
Wow, not bad. Talk to us about other opportunities that you're trying to pursue, because I could imagine that a lot of the BV206 users all around the planet would like to get into the armored version of it.
Yeah, absolutely. The BV206 has been around for some considerable time, since the early 80s in fact. Those vehicles are becoming increasingly difficult to maintain. Obsolescence issues are creeping in. Many of our military customers now are actually looking to replace those with a protected mobility, bearing in mind the 206 was an unprotected vehicle system. So for all of those users around the world, those military users that currently operate BV206, many are looking at the armoured replacement. And most significantly here at DSEI, it's the UK market that we've been looking to, because they're looking to replace their BV206s. Other users are Sweden, Germany, France, Finland, Italy, it goes on.
Right, exactly. Phil, best of luck with the vehicle. It's really, really fantastic. And you know, I only wish I could take advantage of those great vehicles going on sale. But I wanted to buy a Ferret years ago, and I came like that close to doing it. And then I thought, where am I going to put a 5-ton vehicle? Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. Best of luck.
Very, very welcome. Thank you.
All right, and we're continuing our conversation over here at the BAE Systems stand, where they've got some extraordinary armored vehicles you're not going to see in the United States, and especially for all of those folks at AUSA, they may not be able to see vehicles like this, like the Archer, like the BVS-10, and we're talking to Joachim Schildstad, who's with the Swedish Army's Land Warfare Development Department. Joachim, thanks very much for joining us. It's the very end. We saved the last interview with you. And it's really, really funny that this DSEI was bookended by Swedes, because the first interview we did was with Major General Mats Helgesson, the chief of the Swedish Air Force. So we started with him and we're ending with you. Perfect. So, you know, go Sweden, even though we're at a British show. So talk to us about the CV90. I mean, it's a tremendous vehicle that's been in the inventory in Sweden for a while. Enormous number of variants on it. Tell us a little bit about this new version that you guys have deployed.
This is our 6th version. It's a double-barreled mortar. So we call it Mjölner, and it's going to be delivered to us next week, the first 4, in a batch of F40. And we're going to train the conscripts in 3 weeks, and have a live firing with them in, I think it's week 48 here. Right. So before Christmas.
And tell us, 2 double barrel, it's a double barrel 120 millimeter mortar system. Talk to us about the rounds, talk to us about the precision, because also one of the things that Bofors in Sweden has been very good at is precision mortar rounds as well. Talk to us about the whole weapon system.
Of course, it's a hand-loaded system, so we have no electrical loading or aiming. So we do it all by hand cranks and no electric whatsoever. So it's a basic, simple system, but it's reliable and it's easy to use and to train the conscripts with, and that's one of our big focuses with this. So you can load it by putting a grenade on a loading place, shove it up 1 level up to loading tube over top of the nozzles, tip the tubes over the nozzles, and the grenade slides down.
Ah, okay. So you have a very, very simple system where you're shooting the round up, and then when you drop the gun down, it charges up both of the tubes.
You take the loading tubes and tip them over the tubes.
I see. Okay.
And then it slides down. So you can do all this inside of cover, and you don't have to leave the vehicle ever.
And how large is the crew?
The 4-man crew, the driver, commander, and 2 loader guys work the ammunition.
And how many charges and how many rounds?
We have, for the moment, 56 standard rounds, and 6 of our Strix, the anti-tank versions with heat-seeking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And what are the foreign customers you're looking for? Because the CV90 has had a lot of popularity around the world. Talk to us about the customer base and where some of these opportunities will be for this system on the market.
I think it's a really big focus group. Everybody with the CV90 can get that turret and put it on. And you can put it on other carriers, like, I don't know, a wheel-based vehicle. But it's simplicity. That's what we have gone through here. So we get a reliable, cheap system that works every time.
Joachim, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it. Best of luck on the program. And it's really, really neat to see it just before it goes into service with the Swedish Army. So we'll try to find a really warm February day to come up to Sweden and get a chance to drive the vehicle and shoot some rounds.
Of course. You're always welcome.